It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Our favorite moments of the week. If you didn't hear them before, here they come. Let's go. You want to recap this email real quick? Or the it was an email.
Yep, from Sasha. She just said, I want to email you guys, see if this is a red flag that's jumping out at me, or if you think I'm overreacting with this guy I'm dating. He's got a big personality. She loves him because he's good looking, really outgoing. But one thing, their thing is they love going to movies, staying in and watching movies. Something she's noticed, though, over the last couple of months is that he's always rooting for or can justify the bad guy or the killer in the movie or show that they're watching. And she said he's not sarcastic. He's like being serious, and it feels strange. Is this a red flag?
You know what I was thinking about? If the evil person is a chick, or the girl does something really, really wrong, like what's the girl with the dragon tattoo? Tell me you weren't rooting for her.
I never saw that movie. So let's talk Harley Quinn, maybe? Because she's hot.
Yeah,
you're like,
right,
okay,
yeah.
cool. She can smack people with a bat.
But like, if a girl does something just downright nasty in a movie and it's evil, you're always rooting for her. Mostly because they set it up where something bad has happened to her before and she's getting revenge.
Right.
But it's still not making it right.
A male drove us to it. So in this case, he's watching, like, let's say a killer documentary, like a real thing, gruesome stuff. He's like, yes. Good move, man.
John Wayne Gacy, you're great.
Way to stalk. Good job.
Sam, you said we were kind of reading your mind this morning. You were already talking about this?
Yes. My husband is like that, rooting for the bad guy because he uses the excuse of they grew up with a bad childhood. I think the chick's overreacting, and Kat, no offense, it is totally not a big deal at all.
Okay.
You're not afraid your husband's going to tie you up and cut out your spleen?
No. I agree with him to some point with the whole their childhood, yada, yada. But like Freddy Krueger, he's like, no, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
And Jason Voorhees, he says, grew up with a bad. So I just thought it was weird that you guys were talking about it, and I don't see a red flag.
You know what we're going to do?
And
I'm going to save this audio, and I'm going to send it
to you when you're dead.
For the Dateline episode that's going to happen with Sasha. I send it to John Quinones, and she said, don't even worry about it. It's so okay.
Not a red flag. My husband's like this. Look at how alive I am, Sam said.
Look at how alive.
All right. Hey, thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. I hope you have a great day today.
Yeah.
Take care.
Let me get to this text. Said Sasha needs to test him for empathy. Say something mean about somebody you see that you would never normally make fun of and see how he reacts. Something like this could test whether or not he's truly cruel or kind. I'm not all for testing people that you're dating.
I would
but
fail that every time. If you just started making fun of somebody who walked by here, what's the first thing I'm going to do?
You're going to join
I'm going to
in.
one up you and make fun of them even harder. Like maybe I don't have that empathy thing. Danielle, you avoid this guy? You got a red flag going on?
Personally, I mean, I don't want to cause alarm, but I feel it's my responsibility to say, girl, I would get out, because like I dated someone like that in the past. Like it wasn't exactly the same, but what he would do is he had this notepad that he would keep, and he would have these notes about like what the bad guy did on these crime shows.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like how to catch him, like how to prevent.
It was how to get away with it?
Yeah, it was like tips, like how he did it.
Oh,
like,
my God. So that was a huge red flag for you. You're like, why is he loving the advice as to how to get away with stalking, or what is he in? Is he around you? Like, do you have contact with him ever?
Oh, no, not anymore. So he's actually in jail in Nevada for stalking.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, my God.
All those times you guys were watching movies and he was taking notes, he was trying to get away with something, and now he's in the jug?
Yeah, I guess like his notes thankfully weren't good enough. But like, I would avoid that guy.
Listen
for sure.
to your gut for sure.
Bingo! How far?
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo!
All right, so only the first person that can get through is going to get the bingo this morning, but stop. You got to know what we're looking for, and you can't call yet. You got to hear us both out. This morning, Kat is looking for anyone listening who
had their car found somewhere other than where you parked it. So maybe somebody stole it, put it on blocks. Maybe you had it towed.
I did this with my son. He kept leaving his keys in his car in the driveway.
Yeah.
So I moved it down the street one morning, and he was getting ready to go to school. He was a senior in high school, and he was wigging out. He thought his car had been stolen. It was a good lesson learned.
This driver in Florida spotted an SUV directly on top of a dumpster.
I text my buddy. I'm like, is that fair game? Is that free? It's in the dumpster. I was like, I wasn't sure. I had to do it like a double take, and I seen a car on top of a dumpster. I'm like, are you serious? So I'm just driving, went to Publix. I snapped a picture, and then on the way back, I stopped, took a little video.
So it wasn't a wild crash or anything. Some construction workers used their forklift to temporarily move it because it was in the way of what they needed to do.
Instead of putting it down somewhere else, they put it on a dumpster.
Yeah, so your car was found somewhere other than where you parked it.
I'm going to look for anyone listening who has written fan mail, actually wrote something and mailed it to someone's fan club.
Yes.
I read this amazing story this morning. You know the name Cy Young, right?
No.
Okay, so Cy Young was probably the greatest pitcher that ever played baseball, right?
Okay.
That's why they named the Best Pitcher Award the Cy Young Award every year, right? They thought there's this historical picture of him in his 80s, and he looked really old, was walking with a cane, but every week he would still go to the post office of the little town in Ohio that he ended up settling into and get his fan mail. And it would be bundles and bundles of fan mail decades after he had ever thrown his last pitch that he would still get every single week.
Yeah.
And I was
that's
that's
cute.
crazy. And I was thinking to myself, I've never written a fan mail letter.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you have.
Don't you remember that story? I wrote not only a scene for Home Improvement, one of my favorite shows when I was 11 years old, wrote the scene, would have won an Emmy. And then I also wrote a little letter to Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I would love to star in a scene
naughty
with
things
you,
with
blah,
you.
blah,
Oh.
blah. And then my grandma was like, oh, we should go through your memories box. And I open it up and I'm like, you were supposed to send this. Why is this here?
Well, it was 8 cents postage at
I
the
guess,
time. I'm sure
yeah.
she probably didn't want to. And that's the only fan mail you've ever written?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking for anyone listening who, and I'm not talking an email. You didn't send them a DM. I'm talking you actually put pen to paper and wrote a chunk of
Cute.
fan mail. Tristan, you're going to get the bingo, but which one do you fit, brother?
I picked finding your car.
All right, so
man.
you went outside. Car wasn't there. Where was it?
We were out in Houston on vacation, and we were downtown Houston out for a few drinks, and we parked in a Walgreens parking lot, only parking there was. Come out, and all my buddies are doing the old typical, dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
So we ended up finding a tow truck driver that was towing a car next to where ours was, and we had to walk 5 miles to go pull it out of impound at 2:30 in the
5
morning.
miles? You didn't take a cab or anything?
We didn't know where we were, and we were a little tuned up already.
Yeah.
And those Walgreens guys got no chill, man. How long was your car there?
Probably 2.5, 3 hours.
I would never think that's okay. It's a business.
No.
And there were probably
Yeah.
signs.
Was this a rental too, or did you drive to Houston?
It was a rental BMW.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
And I'm sure they've got some kind of a rental sticker on it, so those tow truck drivers are probably like, yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
game.
It was also one of those rental apps for private parties, too, so we had to get a hold of that guy at 2 in the morning to get
God.
the car out of impound.
Not a lot of hoops.
You're the worst tourist ever,
Yeah.
man.
Speaking of impounds,
Yeah,
have you
he
guys ever
wasn't
watched
happy.
Parking Wars? It's out of Philadelphia.
I've seen that, yeah.
Dang, I was on a little thing this weekend. I watched 5 episodes in a row. They get angry, but it was almost like watching these people. It's a sport for them to find
Well, and
people
a lot of those
that
are a lot of those are no payment, right? They haven't paid their.
They have 7 outstanding tickets, and
okay.
they put the boot on it. And
How much extra did this end up costing you, Tristan?
I think they got us for a late night fee, and they nailed us with fees. I think we ended up paying $800 or $900.
Oh, wow.
That night.
Plus a 5-mile walk,
And they
half
said
tipsy.
Yeah, and they towed it 15 minutes before we actually went out there, so we were so close to actually not having a show, too.
Almost got away with it.
Do you ever look back and just
Yeah.
thought of like the person that wanted to leave like a half hour before and you're like, no, we got to stay
One
for another
more,
drink.
one more.
A half hour. That's it. Tops. All right.
Jen, how we feeling this morning?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Tell us the embarrassing moment, please.
So, I mean, it was embarrassing at the time, but now it's a legendary story that's going to live forever.
Right.
You're a
Oh,
there's that,
legend.
right?
Good for you.
Yeah. So I was in college. The house full of girls. We went out partying the night before. We ended with a nightcap of tequila and Taco Bell.
Love it.
Yep. So the next morning, so we were in a rental house, okay? So the next morning, I was, sleeping in late, and my roommates were up, and apparently the landlord had called a plumber over. And they had told my other roommates, don't use the toilet because we're opening up the pipe. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can see where this is going.
I can.
Jen is still sleeping, so Jen doesn't get this information. She wakes up and goes to the bathroom because of what she had the night before. And, the toilet's like kind of shaking while I'm sitting on it, but I just really didn't think anything of it. And then I go to flush the toilet, and all I hear is yelling coming from the basement. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I just go back to bed, like, okay.
Oh, my God.
So my roommates come in, and they're like, oh, my God, Jen, did you just use the toilet? I said, yeah. They're like, you just pooped down the plumber. And I was like,
Oh, my God. Was it a neat one? You have ones that are just like quick to clean up, or was it really messy?
well, no, we had tequila and Taco Bell before bed. So
that's
it was
the perfect
not,
combination.
All right.
it was not good.
Wow.
Not good.
And tell me that people at least still bring this up more than dopey radio shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That's
You're-
brought up. That's
you're right.
a story that will not die.
This is of legendary status. Thank you for sharing with us. I hope you have a great morning.
Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Hi, Laura. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you. Every single one of these stories has to do with underwear, poops, or farts. Your most embarrassing moment, does it fit one of those criteria?
It does. It has
Yes.
to deal with Barney underwear, actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh.
Another Barney underwear. Let's go.
Yeah.
We had a quota to meet, and we are now there. Good.
Antonio's story gave me support. So,
Okay.
Good.
yeah. So I was like age 8, 9. I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I was out on the playground at recess with everybody. And I was wearing a dress and Barney underwear that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the choice to go down one of the slides. And you know those slides that have the corners at the top?
Yeah.
Like where you just like sit down and the corners are up there and it kind of separates the slide from the other slides.
Okay.
I decided to go down that slide and my dress got caught on the corner.
Ah.
And as I was going down the slide, I was completely de-dressed.
Oh, my God.
So I was totally naked in front of all of my peers, as well as all the teachers that were out at recess.
Aww.
And I was hiding naked in my Barney underwear.
Oh,
underneath
my
the slide.
God. I think you're
Until-
winning today.
Until one of my friends brought me my dress.
Oh, can't you just picture it? It just takes her dress from behind.
Yep.
Your little arms go up, and it just takes it all.
And
Yep.
how
it was
long
pretty awful.
did you get the Barney nickname like Antonio did, or did they go with something else?
No, I luckily slipped under the slide fast enough to. I felt like I wasn't really seen, but I was still crying. You know, so I was pretty upset. But I feel like it was kind of a quick process. I went down the slide really fast, got de-dressed, and then my dress was brought back to me about 2 or 3 minutes
And
later.
Wow. I bet it felt like a lifetime.
Has modern therapy really helped you through this situation?
What was that, JJ?
Has modern therapy really helped you through this situation, or is this it for you?
I think you guys are it.
Okay.
So.
Oh,
Thank you.
God.
It's
All
free,
right.
free service. Thanks, Jay. Have a great morning, Laura. You go to the Mall of America, you're going to do some Christmas shopping. And as you're just walking down the aisle with your Trenta cold brew,
You listen to me.
and you're looking for stuff for yourself because
Yeah.
it's Christmas, and all of a sudden you turn around And as you look up, there's 6'6" Chris, your ex-fiance.
All right.
And it's an awkward moment.
I would have no words.
Really? You wouldn't say a
For
thing?
that one, I would have no words. I only have one bad one. I've had really, really great ex-boyfriends. They're like really nice people. They just weren't meant for me, you know? So I have nothing, no ill will. They might have some towards me. The only run-in I had was I was at home. It was one of those nights before Thanksgiving. And I'd say it was about 15, 16 years ago, maybe right when I started dating Derek. And I had gone downtown with some friends, and I was headed to the bathroom, and I come face to face with Joe, the plumber. You know, he was my boyfriend all through high school, and I was not faithful. I was not a good girlfriend. And he says to me, just want to let you know, I forgive you.
Wow, big man.
I was so drunk, and I go, sounds good. And I just walked away. And I look back, I'm like, girl, shame on you. He is a human being and a nice guy.
Good.
Sounds good. I just made my way to the bathroom, and I'm sure it made him feel small, and he probably practiced that moment for so long, you know, and
He took the high road, though.
He did
Proud of
not
him.
need to. I was not a good girlfriend. So
The reason I bring it up is I have to officiate a wedding. My cousin is getting married this weekend. He asked me to officiate the wedding. And I'm assuming that I'll run into, since it's our old hometown, my ex.
Yeah.
And my wife usually will be like, oh, your ex is here.
Oh.
Like, she's the one that's like, oh, what are you going to say
Makes
to
a big
her?
deal
I'm
out
like,
of it?
I'm not going to say anything, man. What am I going to say? Like, hey, look at me, this good looking at this age, this fit, you know, syndicated radio show host. Like, I mean, I'm not going to tell her all my accomplishments. Award
I don't
winner,
think you need to.
award
Yeah.
nominee several times. I'm not going to,
you know, I've been nominated several times.
clearly
for
the
things.
redheaded stepchild of the company that I work for that can't find a reason to fire me yet. So I'm not going to go into all of that. But I was looking for your awkward run-in with your ex stories. You got a good one for us? Brian called right away. Tell us about it, brother.
We were at a bar. We were at the same bar. But here's the thing. This is kind of the funny but / tragic side. We were both with Tinder dates.
Oh.
How did you know hers was a Tinder date? You got into that much of a conversation with her?
Kind of, but not really. I just know her type. Not trying to be like, kind of an arrogant SOB, but, I guess I kind of am. Her Tinder date was really just not, man, how do I say this without being rude?
Good looking?
It's fugly.
He was fugly. I love it. I love it. So you felt good about this whole thing then,
It was just so awful. And knowing her and how, how very important looks are to her.
Yeah. Well, you are her
there
ex.
were times, there were times where, like, I couldn't go out with her because I had like a zit.
Really?
You gotta pop that zit.
Well, maybe you dodged
now
the
you
bullet
popped it,
then.
Now there's a big red blemish, and it was just like, hey, you know what? I'm cool. Put some of your makeup on me or something. It's like, no. You're just gonna have to stay home. We're not going out. But it was. At first, it was kind of awkward, but seeing her date, I felt so bad. I just kind of like went over there, and I just kind of I had a round of drinks brought to them.
Oh,
well played.
Salt in the wound. I love that.
At first, you're like a Sour Patch Kid. At first, I didn't like you, and then I was like, oh, she sounds kind of shallow, so then I liked you.
Dude, that was
and
classy.
when I was watching Romeo and Juliet this weekend, the one with Leo DiCaprio, so cute. My mom had called. I was telling her, and she's an English teacher. And I think she was, all of our animals were like Othello and Hamlet. And, we always named them after. And so she was like, oh, I love that movie. And don't you know that he was at one point initially attracted to Juliet's cousin, Rosalind?
Now, that's not in the original, is it?
I think it's in the history
read
books.
The Shakespeare version of this, it's really in there?
Rosalind is mentioned in it, but she also has her own backstory, too, that is highlighted throughout history. But
they took some liberties with the movie and kind of moved it that way.
And so, in my mind, I'm like, this would be a really good topic to talk about someone that you were with, but maybe you were lusting after, like had not so pure thoughts about somebody else.
My sophomore year, this was like weeks before I started dating my wife, my sophomore year in college, I had been seeing this girl just kind of a little bit on and off. We had a couple of classes together.
Yeah.
And, we had hung out a little bit. And she had, when you're a high school senior and you go visit colleges and stuff like that. Well, her sister was a high school senior and came to visit her sister, right? And so she was a dime.
Yeah.
The sister was a dime.
Okay.
And I remember sitting there, like we're in her room, and I think we're actually studying for real. And I remember her sister just kind of floating around for like a day or two to visit the college. And I remember going, oh my God.
She gave you the
I'm like,
feels,
is that girl 18? Like, that was that kind of thoughts. Like, she's a high school senior. Is she? And then, like, I hope she comes to school here next year. Like, she was super hot. I mean,
stuff you shouldn't have been thinking.
Never acted on it because I'm like kind of half dating her sister, but going, wow, that genetic strain got a whole lot better with just a couple years baking.
Oh, that's real nice.
She was at least 3 times hotter than her sister.
Yeah. Well, you can't help who you are attracted to, and even if you're dating somebody, maybe you do love them, but like you might have a better connection with somebody else.
Caitlin, you got some forbidden love in your life?
Yeah, I was like probably 20 years old, and I'm like happily married now, just so we're clear, but I was dating this guy, and we were dating for like 2 or 3 months, and he brought me to his family reunion, and my ex was his cousin, and my ex was a lot more attractive than he was, and I noticed it at the family affair or whatever, and then, I broke up with him probably 2 weeks later and then got back with his cousin.
Oh,
Is that who you're with right now that created those babies in the background?
No, thankfully, no.
Okay.
So what did the family members think of all the ping pong going on?
They thought you were a hoochie, didn't they?
Sadly.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I would assume. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that if somebody did that to my son, like, there's no doubt,
Yeah, and I love how you're like, he was more attractive. So is that... Obviously, we're attracted to attractive people, but did he have like the personality that you liked or just like the bod?
I would say like he was the package. But now that I look back at it, like I was also 20 and stupid, so he wasn't like a good person either. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're happy now. Fun stuff. Have a great morning.
Yeah. Thanks.
Take care. And I want to bring Bryant on real quick. He's been holding forever, but we knew that this is a girlfriend. This is the cousin. Lay the whole thing out for us, will you?
Obviously I was with my girlfriend, and anytime we had a family get together or something like that ride home was always crazy awkward. Why are you talking to her so much? Why do you look at her that way? But we had more in common. It was electric. People talk about love at first sight, but I don't know, man.
So whatever happened to you and the cousin? So you're not with this girl anymore that you were with?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not with her anymore.
All right. And I bet going to date her cousin is kind of out of the question.
She's down, I'm down.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I was waiting for. I can feel this happening.
How awkward would that be if you are now going to the family get-togethers with a new person, but now...
I don't have to meet anyone again. I've already met these people.
Okay.
I think this is amazing, man. Just be happy. I think you're onto something here, son.
I won't ever tell you to doubt love. Like, obviously, you had a connection with this person, and how far was this connection, though?
I was obsessed. I looked at her social media all the time. Anytime she posted a new picture, I was there to see it. I would go through the comments to see if anyone else was looking.
Man.
Dude, you had it hard for this girl.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term emotional shower? If not, you're going to want to be here at 7:30 Monday. I didn't even know this thing existed, but we've got a listener who's being urged by his siblings to start doing this. We'll lay it all out and get your thoughts on it Monday morning. In the meantime, let's finish up the podcast. How many passes do they get for, and this is like per, what'd you say, quarter, trimester?
This would be 5 restroom passes for 4 weeks. So 1 month that you get to go to the bathroom 5 times. That means leave class 5 times to use the bathroom. And then if you come at the end of the 4 weeks with all 5 passes, this science teacher, 6th grade science teacher, will give you extra credit, or you can choose a prize from the prize bin, which that would be incentive for my kid.
I think it's great. I don't have a problem with this. Lisa, first thoughts on this?
Well, my first thoughts were just that there might be other reasons why some of the kids are using the bathroom in the middle of class.
Like to toke up?
Just you only have, what's that?
Like to toke up?
Maybe, no. I think some of the girls at that age, even in 6th grade, are getting their periods and maybe embarrassed to go during that time or need extra time, and 2 and 3 minutes isn't a lot when you have to go to your locker, go to the bathroom, or maybe they just want some privacy when no one else is around.
So maybe like a menstrual exemption. So maybe if you go up to your teacher and say, I'm not using my pass to use the bathroom, I need just a couple of extra minutes to handle my business, wash my hands, so there's not a mess on our hands. And I need to go to the nurse for that or use the restroom.
Can't they just raise their hand and go, it's period time? No, that's unacceptable.
That's pretty popular for tweens to just yell out they have it.
I think you're onto something though. I think so how do you work your way around that? Like, I get it. You're a 6th grade boy and you're just looking to not be in class and you want to break out for 30 minutes in the bathroom and you say you just had a big poops. I get not wanting that to happen a lot.
With my mom and her thing, sometimes I'm like, God, you let kids go to the bathroom whenever they want? She goes, they're the ones missing class. So the thing is, if you're not going to be here for my presentation to know what's going on with your homework, whatever, that's on you. So if you're constantly leaving my class, that's your problem.
Ask those teachers the fallout on this, because what's going to happen is, well, I wasn't there when you taught it. And they're going to tell mom and dad that. They're going to get half the story. Mom and dad are going to email the teacher, hey, how come my son's being tested on material you never
Jacob
taught?
goes to the bathroom twice a day.
I know, but what a pain in the butt for teachers to have to verify that and stuff. Like, that's just time out of their day.
I don't know.
And you wonder why there's a teacher shortage.
I would just think that if there were certain students that were making it a problem, maybe they could work out a special deal with them to get them to quit using the bathroom as much. But yeah, extra credit seems kind of odd.
Ooh, how about a heavy flow key that you hang right next to the door that you could just walk up, and if you grab that one, then you got exemption.
Period seriously.
No way.
He never does. I try to tell him how serious they are.
Mine have never been that bad. I don't find it a problem. Have a great day, Lisa. Thanks for checking in. What happened on your wedding day that was probably a pretty accurate predictor that the marriage just wasn't going to work?
So maybe the obvious, you found out on your wedding day that they had cheated on you, or something happened at the bachelorette party that wasn't told to you until the day of, which, man, you got to be careful with that stuff. But was there something looking back and you were like, that is probably the reason why it didn't work?
First text we got from 3345. My now ex-husband threw a fit and caused a giant scene, yelling and screaming at me.
Why was he there?
Because he thought I was cheating on him.
Oh, he was the groom.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day of our wedding with one of my girlfriends. From that day on, I started walking on eggshells every day. Fast forward to we're not married anymore.
Yeah. Some people just aren't meant to be married.
My wife and I, before we were married, we were still dating. I think we might have even been engaged. We went to one of her friends' weddings, and at a church kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they go to light the unity candle right at the end of the ceremony, and a big gust of wind comes in from the back of the church and blows out both of the individual candles and the unity candle.
Yeah.
And I went, oh my God. And it was really loud. And everyone's kind of looking at me. I'm like, there's no way that's God saying this isn't going to work. They didn't last 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
I hate to be a predictor of something like this. Andrea, what happened that kind of got you to know that it wasn't going to work out?
Before my wedding, I had to bail my bridesmaid out of prison or jail.
Oh, my God. What landed her in there?
It had to be booze.
It was parking tickets.
Oh, they took her to jail because of parking tickets?
She still hasn't paid me back.
You had to pay the tickets to get her out of jail, and then I'm guessing there was a fee?
That was my money for food at my wedding.
Wow.
This crumbled fast.
I had to pull all my money out of all my bank accounts before the government took my money.
Yeah, but why? Why did you feel you had to do that? She didn't have any family or other friends?
All of my stuff was connected to my husband when we were getting married.
And at this point, you're thinking, all right, everybody's going to know that my bridesmaid is missing. It's going to look awkward up on the altar. Let me bail this girl out. She's a friend, and you spend all your money. She still hasn't paid you back. The question is, did the marriage last?
We're divorced.
Oh, my God. And do you talk to her anymore?
I still have phone.
What?
Fortnite. Sorry, somebody else was talking to me.
Okay.
Oh, well,
do you
focus on us.
Do you still talk to this girl?
Don't talk to me in a Fortnite costume.
I don't know what you're
She's talking to someone else. All right. Do you still talk to this girl that you had to bail out of jail?
I messaged her about giving me some money so I didn't go to jail.
Okay,
Wow.
so just bottom line is the only thing you really communicate with her anymore is give me the dough you owe me from the marriage that I had that failed.
Oh, maybe.
So recapping our OPP real quick, we talked to Denise, and basically she loves to have, 60 minutes in the morning to do some reflection, some meditation, a little bit of yoga. And her husband is just like, this is ridiculous. Why can't you just make it 15 minutes? He's making all sorts of noise. Like, he just thinks it's a giant waste of time.
Yeah, she just wants 60 minutes to just, come together with herself, do something that makes her happy, a mindful moment. And he's acting like a toddler almost, banging pots and pans or listening to music. And that's not a nice partner, I don't think.
Julie, you got Denise's back here or what?
I do. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If we don't take enough time for ourselves, and when she actually gets the cojones too, hey, that benefits him in the long run.
I know.
What do you do for yourself?
Take my dog for a walk.
Yeah, that's good, right? That's good downtime. Now, do you talk to your dog like a baby, like my wife does?
Not that often.
Okay. And you feel like you don't need to do that to survive. Because my wife has got this thing where she's probably spending a little bit more time talking to the dog than the family now. Do you find yourself in that position ever?
Maybe you need to step it up in the conversation.
My conversation game is on point.
Okay.
Honestly, my husband's the one that talks to the dog more than I do.
You got bigger
We have
issues.
at least one child at home, so
At least?
Last count.
When we ask people, how many kids do you got? Nobody goes, at least one.
I think we have.
What kind of answer is that?
That was great. That was an answer of a woman that is just doing her best.
1 in 7?
No, 1 in 4.
Okay,
okay.
So we have at least
1 in 4.
No,
I like when they come home and visit. Hey, I had one of my older children come home this weekend, so that was awesome.
Oh, she has a house like yours where
They,
you never know if one's going to swing by, if someone's going to
They grab all your food, they talk to your dog, and then they leave.
Pretty much.
Kind of like that. It's a weird lifestyle we've all grown accustomed to. So, but what if your husband was to tell you, hey, you're just taking too much time walking this stupid dog? I mean, what would be your first reaction there? You'd be like, get the hell out of here.
Pretty much. But honestly, he walks the dog just as much as I do, probably more.
Yeah.
I do it in the morning when I'm off. Normally, he has to take him out if I work. So,
What kind of dog do you have?
A Cocker Spaniel.
And does it have a great name, like a human name?
Yeah, we talked about this the other day. His name is Louie.
Oh, we did talk to you. Yeah, okay, I remember talking to you now.
Well, I think this conversation, if anything, might be highlighting other people to check themselves before they take away someone else's happiness. If you have a spouse or a partner that does something that you don't quite get why they do it, but it brings them joy, step back.
Julie, if you were, and I just got one last question for you. If you were put in a position where you had to kill either Kat or myself to save your family's life, who would you kill first?
JJ would definitely
be Kat. She was saying Kat. She said JJ would definitely be Kat.
I love the definitely.
Why
was amazing.
Why definitely? What have I done to you? I said you had a nice sounding dog and everything. I've been kind and polite and everything.
You just talk a lot.
Honestly, JJ, sometimes some of the things you say is a little edgy and a little rough.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe you need to be less soft. Maybe you're a dandelion.
I think there's a good middle there.
I don't know about that.
All right, well, I don't like your dog anymore.
Well, no, I agree with you. And thank you.
Like your husband's right about walking the dog and you can't. So
we'll talk to you later.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo. Bingo.
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo!
All right, so here's how listener bingo works. You can't get through yet because, well, phones are on hold, and we haven't told you what we're looking for yet. Kat and I each looking for something very specific from you. So, for instance, Kat's looking for anyone listening who
has ever made a donation. Like you've ever made a donation of yourself.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
now.
with the idea of helping a couple expand their family. People are now starting to hop on this Netflix documentary that I told you about, Man with 1,000 Kids. And he's from the Netherlands, and he's got beautiful blonde hair. But then he became like intertwined with this really bad guy that no one wanted his donation, you know? So he felt like put out. And he's this bald guy and dumb. Like
What's wrong with being bald and dumb? I'm getting by.
I said it. I shouldn't have said it. But nobody wanted his donation because he didn't stack up with the right genes. But then this blonde guy was like, all right, I'm going to pretend like yours is mine. And he gave it. And he has he has hundreds and hundreds of kids.
After 6 months, I could find out. And they said you have already 5 children conceived with your sperm. So
after 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay,
in just 6 months, he has those. But he goes to 6 clinics and just donates every single week. Donates. And at one point in one area of like a 5-mile radius, he had 100 kids. So it's really dangerous if they start to date each other or fall in love. That's incest. That's so they're trying to figure out how dangerous it is. So,
but this guy's just doing work.
It's dangerous work.
He rolls.
I know he's doing it for the money.
He rolls in, grabs a magazine, goes to work.
He said it doesn't even need a magazine. Says he goes in
just for humankind.
Yeah,
he's just that good of a guy. Okay, so you're looking for anyone listening who has made a donation to a sperm bank.
Correct.
I'm looking for anyone listening who has never owned a vehicle, a car, a truck, an SUV, a motorcycle. Like you've never owned, and I'm not even talking like lease. Lease counts, all right? But you've never yourself said, that's my car, that's my truck. You've always relied on public transportation, rides from others. You could get by now with as many Uber and Lyft services that are out there with probably never having a vehicle. I don't know if it's cost effective. I haven't done the math. But I'm looking for anyone listening who has never owned a vehicle. You've never driven your own ride. Tiara, which one do you fit?
I definitely fit with the transportation.
Yeah, you've never owned a vehicle of your own. You never said, that's my car, that's my truck, that's my SUV.
In my dreams.
Okay. Is this just because you've found a way to get by on public transportation, or you've just never had the resources to get your own car?
No, I just I prefer getting driven around.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license?
Nope.
So you never got a license or a car. This is crazy. What do people say to you?
Nothing. Now, I kind of had a car, but,
No, I don't. That's what you're listening to us on the radio 15 seconds after what we're saying. You have to turn your radio off real quick.
So I don't know if I could live that life of being driven around. I would barf all the time.
So where are you going today? Where are you going to go?
I don't really go nowhere. I stay in the crib.
Okay. And you're just not going to go. Well, how about this weekend? If you decide you want to go somewhere, you call an Uber or you call a friend?
Call a friend, hop in the car with them. We outside at the carpet.
Okay, and then will you give them like gas money, or are you just like, hey, you're just going to take me wherever I want to go?
Nope. Gas money.
Okay, that's nice.
When I go out, we be literally down the street.
Let's say you won a big contest
walking distance
on our radio station. Let's say you won $5,000. Would you buy a car?
Yep.
Okay, and then you'd have to go get your license. Do you think you'd pass your license test?
Yeah, it ain't that bad. Pretty sure the rules ain't changed.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't even know why we're making a big deal out of this. People in New York walk miles and miles and miles every single day just to get where they have to go, because you cannot, if you have a car in New York City, you make a lot of money.
Yeah, but you have to, right, because you have to pay to park it.
Yes.
And it's insane to go anywhere and not double park and have to run in.
It's fiscally responsible to not have a vehicle in cities like that. So if you were to walk.
Also, they're trying to change the law now with people that have homes. They're trying to say that their driveway would consider 2 parking spots.
Oh, I get it. If we could buy you your dream car, since you've never had one, what would it be?
Just a regular Audi or an Impala, nothing too fancy. I'm an old school, so.
I like that. All right. Well, hey, thanks for checking in. Always good to talk to you. I hope you have a really good day today.
Thank you. You
Take
too.
care.
Speaking of
Have a good
fancy,
day, y'all.
sat in
You too.
Robin's Aston Martin yesterday.
Yeah?
Oh, how the other half lives.
She let you in there, huh? She make you wipe your feet and
She
everything
wouldn't
like
even.
that?
Well, first I was like looking at it. She's like, "Don't look at it." And then I said, "Can I just sit in it for a second?" Man, it was gorgeous.
So the other half lives.
Yeah, I know.